Hi and hello, I hope all is well with you wherever you are in the world today, and welcome. This is Dune Imperium and I am Admiral Trench. Please remember to like and subscribe and share with all your friends, anybody who you think would appreciate a board game channel such as this. I have high hopes and many things I'd like to do with this channel before too long, and I am reaching my goal of $1,500 to buy a new camera where the quality at that point will increase exponentially compared to where it's at now. So, with that being said, I'd just like to say I play at Kwisatz Haderach level difficulty, and for those of you who do not know, that means that my opponents begin with 1 water each. And that's important because it only requires them to acquire 3 water total to reach a victory point. They also get to start with 1 intrigue card each. And that's important because if they get 3 intrigue cards, they get a victory point. If they ever obtain 7 Solari, they get a victory point. And instead of hoarding spice, if they ever get 7 spice in the base game, they get a victory point. But as long as you have the Planet Ix expansion, they hoard spice to buy tech tiles. So, with that being said, let's begin by reading the Imperium row. Oh, lastly, I should just explain these smaller other little details. At no point at any time during the game will I ever be able to obtain a Swordmaster, and if I ever need to take the Mentat space, it's going to cost me 5 Solari as opposed to 2. Okay, now let's get into reading the Imperium row. We have over here Janus for 2 persuasion. It's a Fremen card that lets you go to Fremen spaces and share those Fremen spaces with other agents. It lets you trash a card, and it gives you 1 persuasion and 2 combat points on a reveal. Gene Manipulation is a Bene Gesserit card for 3 persuasion. It lets you go to green and blue spaces. It lets you trash a card, and if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, you get 2 spice. You get 2 persuasion on reveal. Lizan al-Gaib for 4 persuasion. It gives you 1 spice upon purchase. It's a Bene Gesserit and Fremen card that lets you go to Fremen spaces, blue spaces, and triangle spaces. And it says if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, you can move your Fremen faction up by 1. It gives you 1 persuasion, and if you have Fremen bond, 2 combat points. Clandestine Meeting for 4 persuasion. It does absolutely nothing on an agent phase unless you manage to graft it, but it gives you 2 persuasion on reveal. If you manage to graft it, you can bring your Bene Gesserit tracker up 1 and collect an intrigue card. Ixian Engineer for 5 persuasion only lets you go to triangle spaces and allows you to buy a tech tile. And if you have 3 or more tech tiles, you trash the card and you get a victory point. All the way to the right at the Twi'lexu row, you have Contaminator for 1 specimen. It lets you go to Fremen spaces, and every time you use it, you get to move your Twi'lexu tracker. It gives you 1 persuasion on reveal. Face Dancer for 2 specimen. It's an Emperor, Spacing Guild, and Fremen card that lets you go to Emperor, Spacing Guild, and Fremen spaces so long as it's grafted and lets you draw a card. Also, it gives you 1 persuasion on reveal. The Tech Tiles at the Planet Ix for 2 spice. Troop transports. Whenever you recruit troops from the shipping track, recruit an additional troop. You may deploy any of them to the conflict. Training drones. You tap the tech tile, you get a troop for 3 spice. Spaceport for 5 spice lets you draw 2 cards upon purchase. You may put cards you acquire on top of your deck. Also, one last little detail at playing Kwisatz Haderach level difficulty, my opponents will get their Swordmaster at the beginning of the 3rd round. So with that being said, I would just like to say that I'm playing as, let's see here, Vincent Hundro Moritani. And he has this ability at the beginning of the game. It says, start the game, look at the top 2 cards of the intrigue deck, keep 1 and put the other one back on top. So I'll know what the other one is. And here's what we're looking at. Okay, Finesse. You drop a faction down 1 to gain a faction somewhere else up 1, or 2 combat points in a combat. phase. Calculated higher for one spice, take the mentat space from its designated, I beg your pardon, take the mentat from its designated space in the Landstrab. Okay, interesting. I will choose, finesse. Yes, now getting into this game, I possess power unparalleled, ageless, remorseless, without pity or conscience, a manipulator of evolution on countless worlds, a god of the stars, a celestial host. And so, with that being said, I actually have 7 wins out of 6 losses. So, let's hope I can get 8 wins tonight. And let's move on into this game, shall we? Let me just shuffle my deck so we can begin playing. I'm really excited for tonight's game. Alrighty then. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What'll it be? What'll it be? Okay. Oh man, I have a feeling it's like the worst opening hand ever. I despise this hand. 2 daggers, a convincing argument, diplomacy, and a reconnaissance. Jeez Louise. Of course, that means I have a convincing argument, 2 experimentation, a signet ring, and seek allies next turn. So, all right, to begin this game, what do I want to do? Reveal the conflict card. That's what. First player in this skirmish gets to move a faction up 1 and collect 1 spice. Second place gets 2 spice. And let's see here. What do I want to do? Well, of all the cards, believe it or not, the Jameis card is pretty good because it lets you trash and go to Fremen spaces, and you get to share those Fremen spaces. So that's actually a really good card. And then Lisan Al-Gaib is another really good card I think I want. The Ixian Engineer is a good card also, but let's face it, it doesn't look feasible for me to be able to achieve that. It's a long way to go for 1 victory point, right? I mean, sure, you get the benefits of the tech tiles and everything. It's just those tech tiles aren't necessarily useful. So, and then you have to constantly go to these desert spaces to get the spice, and you don't get to generate troops. It doesn't really work. So, okay, getting involved in this combat, even though fighting House of Gaul in the first few rounds, so long as they have 3 agents each, it's extremely dangerous. But I have 2 daggers on my side and finesse. And getting 1 spice could be good because next turn I will have my signet ring and I can go to smuggling and immediately get my money in the first turn and then I could use, I could use my, it would have to be my signet ring to do that. Darn it. I would use my signet ring. I already have my 2 daggers, so there would be no way I could get to the High Council. Darn it, that really stinks. Okay. Anyways, we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. What do I want to do in my first turn? I don't get to start with any resources, by the way. Diplomacy to go to... Nope, first things first, reconnaissance. I'll just use reconnaissance, go to Carthag, get a troop, and push him into combat. I know this is so stupid. This is so stupid. And I get to draw. Oh, that's right. I already know what the next intrigue card is going to be. It's that Mentat card. Ha! Why would I do this? I'm being so silly right now, aren't I? Well, it's worth fighting for anyway. So I'll take the intrigue card. And it's calculated higher. I never expected that. So with that being said, we're going to move forward to Atreides, who has drawn Hardy Warriors. So he comes down here, he moves his Fremen tracker up 1 and generates 2 troops. See, this is so stupid. He's going to be able to push in all 3 of his troops. And I'm going to be at 246, of course, and that's going to put him at 6 as well. He moved his Fremen tracker up 1. So, beautiful. Isn't that nice? Oh, he moves in the 2 troops plus 2 troops. So he's actually at 8 total combat points. So he's ahead of me already. Great. That's a wonderful way to start this game. I'm going to end up with 2 spice and not... Darn it. Okay. That's even if I manage to make at least 2nd place. So let's move on to Thorvald, who will go to Still Suits. Okay, Thorvald and Moritani, beg your pardon, Atreides both go to the Fremen track, and all he does is move his Fremen track up 1 and pushes in 2 combat troops in because it is a combat space. And then it goes back to me. And so with that being said, the thing I think I would like to do, believe it or not, I feel like this is a little silly. I really should take a fold space. Maybe I'll use that with my Seek allies next turn. Is I want to use diplomacy to go to secrets so I can move my Bene Gesserit tracker up 1 and get another intrigue card. Oh man, double cross. That's a really good card if I had a Solari. Anyways, it costs 1 Solari, and an opponent of your choice loses 1 troop in the conflict, and you deploy 1 troop from your supply to the conflict. So I'm in it now all the way. And we're going to go to Atreides for his 2nd agent phase. And he's going to go to Arrakeen over here. He's going to generate a troop, and he's going to push in the last remaining troops he has into the combat. And he's going to use his Signet Ring ability, which he cannot because he doesn't have 1 spice, unfortunately for him. Too bad, so sad. All right, there's no way I'm going to be able to win 1st place now. I mean, that is just devastating. Let's see what Thorvald would like to do. He cannot go to interstellar shipping. He can go to fold space, however, and he's going to and move his tracker up 1, and that's all he does. So it goes to me now for my reveal phase, where I have 2 persuasion, which is enough for Jamis. So I'll take it. Right on, and then we'll reveal another card, and it's Full-Scale Assault. For 8 persuasion, it's an Emperor card that gives you a Dreadnought upon purchase. It lets you go to Emperor spaces and blue spaces. You get 2 troops. It gives you 2 persuasion and 3 combat for each of your Dreadnoughts in the conflict. Whoa, that's a good card. That's a really good card. I need to get that. I need to get that ASAP. I generate 2 combat points from my swords. And that is that. If I tried, how silly of me to attempt to use my finesse card. I would only do it if I was going to end up in 3rd place to edge out Thorvald. So let's hope I don't have to use it now. That being said, we're going to get into that was my reveal phase. We're going to get into the combat phase now. So it goes to Atreides, who will blank out. And then it's going to go to Thorvald, who will also blank out, and I will remain in 2nd place. So, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I wish I had 1 Solari so that I could steal a troop from from Atreides, and I would be able to win this combat, but it's just not going to happen that way. So, with that being said, I will collect my 2 spice prize, which is nice because then I could use it to push a Chom tracker next turn, hopefully. And then I'm going to give 1 spice over to Atreides, and he's going to push his tracker down here up 1 to give him a victory point right out of the gates in the 1st round. All right, now, because winnings have been resolved, we're going to put spice on all of the desert planets, as we do. Now, it turns out that last game, when I made that mistake, I was so happy that I decided to go back and give everyone 2nd place prize winnings. Now, in hindsight, really what should have happened is everyone should have got 3rd place prize winnings. But I gave everybody 2nd place prize winnings because I just felt like it would have been, in the moment, it didn't cross my mind until it was too late. But even still, in hindsight, having observed all that, I realized that everybody winning second place is actually more of a challenge as opposed to everybody winning third place, because the prizes are better having everybody at second as opposed to third. So even by tying everybody down the row with the same amount of victory rewards, the game ends up being equally as difficult as it would have been, except the stakes are slightly nudged a second place, if you will, higher than third place. So yeah, it all worked out. It all came out, and I legitimately won last game, despite my little snafu in the 6th and 7th round. With, if I believe it was Ariana Thorvald, who had a tech tile. It was actually training drones, and I was supposed to tap it every turn to make sure she got a troop. And in one round, I forgot to give it to her, and it would have caused her to tie with us. Well, anyways, all that has been resolved. I've watched the game film, and I now know that I solved that problem completely when I noticed my mistake, and I just gave everybody a prize. So that was a mistake that I was like, I'll just bite the bullet on this. I've got to take the penalty. Either I'm right or wrong. Maybe she wasn't going to tie us, or maybe a troop would have ended up in the garrison. I don't know. But I was like, I'm going to bite the bullet and take my lumps because I made a mistake. I've solved that perfectly. I'm really happy that I did that. My instincts were totally correct. So I put Spice out on the board, and we're going to return the combat trackers, and then we're going to return all troops to the respective supplies. Wow, Atreides has put everything he has and the kitchen sink into this battle. Thorvald returns his troops. We're going to flip this conflict card. We're all fighting for Solari. And then we're going to roll the Imperium Row dice. 5 and 2. Oh, Gene Manipulation and Ixion Engineer are out of here. They're off the Imperium Row. Whoopsies, I dropped a card. That's not good. Okay, there we go. And what do we do from here? Let's see. We have Siege Reverend Mother and Desert Ambush. Siege Reverend Mother for 4 persuasion is a Bene Gesserit and Fremen card. It gives you Bene Gesserit and Fremen spaces, lets you trash a card, and if you have Fremen Bond, you get 3 persuasion and 1 spice. Clandestine Meeting? No, that's not the card that I just drew. Desert Ambush, that's it. 3 persuasion, it's a Fremen card that lets you go to triangle spaces, those are yellow spaces, and for each troop you deploy this turn, you may force an enemy unit to retreat. Gives you 1 persuasion and 1 combat. Now, Siege Reverend Mother is a card I really want, and if I'm not mistaken, that's actually a promo card that I bought. It comes separate from all the games. All right, great. So we're going to go into the second round, and Atreides starts this next round. What does he want to do? He wants to go to Carthag, and so, oh gosh, can you believe it? I didn't remove all the troops. Let's do that. All the agents, I should say. So since we're getting into this next round, I think I should announce for everybody that Paul Atreides is in first place with 1 victory point, while Thorvald and Moritani, myself, are in second place. We are tied for last. So we're working our way up that ladder, of course. We're just getting this engine rolling, and everybody has their agents. And so Atreides says he wants to go to Carthag. He's going to generate himself a troop. He's going to push into the combat. And then he's also going to move his Twi'leksu tracker and destroy Contaminator. It's off of the Twi'leksu row. We're going to now reveal Subject X-137. It costs 2 specimen. It lets you move your Twi'leksu tracker upon purchase, and it lets you go to green and yellow spaces. And if you have 1 genetic marker, you can move the Twi'leksu tracker 1 space. It gives you 1 persuasion on reveal. All right, now with that being said, we're going to go to Thorvald, who takes the research station. Oh no, that's actually not good at all. He pushes his 1 troop into combat. That puts him tied with Paul Atreides at 2 combat points. And he moves his Twi'leksu tracker forward 2 spaces, which generates him an intrigue card, making him 1 away from a victory point. So now it goes to me. What do I want to do? Well, look at that. We're all down here. Okay, so what did I want to do? The thing I said I wanted to do, I have Signet Ring, Experimentation, and Seek Allies. So, yeah, it's a little disappointing because what I really wanted to do was get the High Council, and I'm not going, well, actually, No, I can't do that. You see, here's what I wanted to do, go to High Council. And so I'd like go to experimentation. I it's a very weird. I know if I was playing Doom Digital, you would never be allowed to do this. But I'm thinking to myself, like, what if I went to experimentation, move my Chome tracker up 1, and then let's say I use my Signet Ring to go to High Council, and then I used my Signet Ring ability, spent my 1 spice to move my Chome tracker down, which then would generate the Solari so that I could afford the High Council space. But I would only be able to do that because of the chain of events that's taking place. I can't even land on that space unless I have the entry of 5 Solari. So if I was playing Doom Digital, I doubt that it would allow me to do it in that sequence of events. So I'm going to play it like I imagine it would unfold in the video game. And so let's just try to play it as straight and honest as we can. I'll use my Signet Ring ability. And what that's going to allow me to do is go to, goodness gracious, man. How do I achieve this? I want to eat my cake and have it too, you know? That's the problem here. I want to eat my cake and have it too. I want to be able to take the High Council this turn. How do I do that? How do I achieve that? Is it achievable? I could take the Mentat. What would that do for me? Oh, I know what it could do. What if I did this? Okay. Okay. Whoa. There is something I can do. I've got it. Okay. I can use calculated hire. Okay. And what that could allow me to do is get the Mentat, right? And then I would use experimentation to go to smuggling. That would work as it normally would. Then in my second agent phase, I would then use experimentation again. Why am I having so much trouble figuring out how to make Solari? I feel like I'm just wasting time right now. I'm trying to make the impossible happen. How did I imagine that was going to pan out? I had this whole vision in my head of me being like, aha, I've uncovered the secrets. I can do this. And it turns out I still can't. Dang it. How did I imagine that was unfolding? My mind is playing tricks on me. Okay, no, we're not doing that now. I'll just play it down the middle, use my Signet Ring to take smuggling. I will now have 1 Solari, which is wonderful for that entry card, by the way. And I get to move my Chome tracker up 1. And because I used my Signet Ring ability, by the way, I can spend 1 spice to move my Chome tracker again. And that's going to go straight down. So I can get 8 Solari. So I'll do that. That's 5... 6, 7, 8. So there you go. I'm sitting at 9 Solari right now because of that play. That was really nice. All right, now we're going to go to Paul Atreides, and he's going to harvest spice. So he goes all the way to the Great Flat. He's going to get 4 spice out of that play. Good move for him. And he's going to push in a troop if he had it. So he's at 5 spice now. He doesn't, so he just sits there, and we move forward to Thorvald, who is now... We are now in the second agent phase, by the way. He's going to go to a Rakeen, and he's going to generate himself a troop out of his supply, add it to the conflict, and that pushes him up 2 combat points. And he uses his Signet Ring ability if he could. Oh, he only generates spice. Sorry, not that he spends it on anything. So he has 1 spice. Good for him. And with that being said, we're going to go down to me for my second agent phase, and what do I want to do? Yeah, I said I was going to do this. I need to do this. In fact, I think this is the smart move, is I need to use Seek Allies to go to Fold Space. That's the responsible thing to do. Who are we kidding? That's probably what I should do. I'm going to take my agent, go to Fold Space, move my tracker up 1, and take a Fold Space card so I can use these tracks more adequately for future play. It's just unfortunate that I can't use this experimentation at all, but you know, it is what it is. So now we're going to go to my reveal phase, and I have 2 specimen I get to add to the Oxalotl tank. Oh, that's right here. And I have a total of 4 persuasion. So, hey, what do you know? I can afford Siege Reverend Mother, and I will use that card. I'll take it. That's nice. I already have another Fremen card too, so I could use that Fremen Bond maybe down the road. And with that being said, I think that's a wrap. The Chris Knight for 3 persuasion. It's a Fremen card that lets you go to Fremen spaces and yellow spaces. It gives you 1 Solari and 1 combat point on a reveal. But if you have Fremen Bond, you get to move your Fremen tracker up 1. And so now with that, we're going to get into combat. So Paul Atreides, what will you do? You will use your Hayliner attack. It's going to bump you up 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. And Thorvald, who will generate 1 combat point. And Paul Atreides takes the victory. He earns himself 6 Solari. That only puts him 1 away from a victory point, by the way, so that's dangerous. And then Thorvald over here, he gets himself 4 Solari. And yeah, that's nice. So that's it for combat. So winnings have been resolved. We're going to put spice back onto these desert spaces, the ones that were not used. And Imperial Basin is looking extremely appealing now. It'll get me 3 spice. So that's a really good place to be. And Thorvald, you're going to start us off in this next round. So let's take a look at the next conflict card, which is the Siege of Arrakeen. First place gets a victory point and a flag at Arrakeen. Second place gets 4 Solari. We're in the 3rd round, which means my opponents become deadlier than ever before as they acquire their sword masters. We're not going to mess with these guys as much as we can help it. And let's see here. What else? I suppose the right thing to do now is to remove all trackers back to their home positions. Roll the Imperium Row dice. Move these guys back to their respective home positions. We rolled Snake Eyes. Oh no, the full-scale assault card is gone. No, that was such a good card too. Imperial Spy for 2 persuasion. Let's go to Emperor spaces, and when you trash the card, you get an intrigue card. It gives you 1 persuasion and 1 combat point on the reveal. So with that being said, we're going to get into this next round. I'd just like to let everybody know that Paul Atreides remains in first place with 1 victory point, while Thorvald and myself remain in last place with 0 victory points. Thorvald, how would you like to start us off? He's going to take selective breeding with his agent. Of course, I need to return all agents. Goodness, I'm getting way too far ahead of myself, aren't I? Yes, I am. I need to slow my roll. All right, and he's going to go to selective breeding. He pushes his tracker up 1, and that's all he does. It's not a combat space, so he's 1 away from that first victory point. And then it's going to go to me, and at this time, I got to shuffle my discard pile. I'm going to give it a good double shuffling, because if you think about it, I've got some cards now. I've got a fold space. I've got 2 Imperium Row cards. Believes on Al-Gaib, I'm not going to lie, is also extremely tempting. It's just, I mean, it is really good. It is a Fremen card, so we could work out some Fremen Bond abilities. And I have a Bene Gesserit card now, because I have the Reverend Siege Mother Reverend, or whatever the heck it's called. I can't remember what, but yeah, actually, that could be an extremely good card for me if I can make it work out. And so here is what we've got. Okay, all right, wonderful. I've got an experimentation. Oh, can you guys believe this? Okay, this is not good because I want to take High Council, but what good would that do me? 1, 2, 3. I do not have a Fremen Bond. Okay, so, taking this Arrakeen would be good, so winning this victory would be good. I'm sitting with 1 troop, so that's good. What could I do? What I could do is I could go to the Bene Gesserit space and I could trash out a card, except I don't have anything I'd want to trash. Goodness. So no, I don't want to do that. Instead, what I could do is I could use my diplomacy. What I know for a fact is that High Council can't really be taken by my opponent, so I can just wait another round to, use it. I have double cross as well, so that's good. I could get into this combat somehow. That'd be nice. What I might do is, I think the right thing to do is to... That's right. I need to take Imperial Basin to get that spice, don't I? Then I could go to Conspire with the 4 spice. That might be a smart thing. They're in the 3rd round. I need to make sure I have enough money for a Hayliner down the road. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. Yeah, I'm going to use Experimentation, and I'm going to take Imperial Basin with my first agent here, and that's going to get me 3 spice. That means I have a total of 4 spice now. And I'm going to push my troop into this conflict. Well, do I really want to? They have 3 agents, and I don't have any troops. That would mean I'd have to get to, like, Carthage. Ugh. But I have double cross, so that's good. It's just I need to find a way to... Is now the time to use the Mentat? I think it might be the time to do that. So I could get a second... Yeah, I could do that. Okay, I think I'll do that. I'll use Calculated Hire and spend one of my 4 spice on the Mentat, so I have a 3rd agent phase this round, and that's what I've done. Okay, so now we're going to go to Paul Atreides, and he's going to go to Smuggling, and that's not particularly good. He just moves his Chom Tracker up 1, and that's it. Now, it's important to mention that when you play House of Gaul, that their Chom Tracker only goes up to the 2nd row, the 2nd part. They never go to the very tippy top of this tracker. They go to the 2nd tracker, and then if they manage to get it to go all the way down, then they collect everything within these 2 brackets. 2 troops, faction movement up, and 8 total Solari, and they always take the Solari over the spice, because out of 8 Solari, 7 of it is spent on a free victory point, so that's especially dangerous. And now we're going to go back to Thorvald, who's going to take Tech Negotiation all the way over here. And does he have enough? Yes, he does, in fact, have enough. He spends 1 spice on troop transports. Whenever you recruit troops from the shipping track, recruit an additional troop. You may deploy them to the conflict. So he now has a tech tile, and that's that for him. He just revealed Flagship. 8 spice gets you a victory point when you purchase it, and if you tap it and spend 4 Solari, you get 3 troops added to your garrison. Then it goes back to me for my 2nd agent phase, and at this point in time, I think the responsible thing for me to do is to use Carthage now, I think. Yeah, that's what I would like to do. I'm going to take Carthage now, and that's going to generate myself a troop. I'm going to push him into combat and get an Intrigue card. When you deploy 4 or more units to the conflict in a single turn, I get to move my Chom Tracker 1. Okay, that's interesting. Right, so that's going to put me from 4 combat points, and then hopefully I can take wealth next turn, is what I'm thinking of doing. And so with that being said, yeah, okay, we're going to go back to Paul Atreides, who's going to take Still Suits all the way down here. He moves his Chom Tracker up 1, and if he had troops, he would push them into combat, but he doesn't. But he's 1 away from taking the Fremen Alliance coin. Look out for this guy. Then we're going to go to, oh my gosh, this whole time, we are now in the 3rd agent phase. I got to keep track of that tracker. It's terrible. He cannot take Carthage. I'm standing at Carthage, but he will take Haga Basin. That's going to get him 4 spice. And if he had a troop, he would push it in. And you know what? I'm going to win this victory because these guys don't have any troops to add to the conflict. So it goes now to me for my 3rd agent phase. And I would like to do exactly what I said I was going to do. I'm going to take wealth. I'm going to use diplomacy to take wealth. I'm going to keep my fold space card for future use. You never know. Put my tracker up 1 and take 2 Solari. And I'm only doing this now to take the Solari. I don't really need the Solari, but I'm doing it because I want to move that influence tracker up 1. And so with that said, we're now going to get to Paul Atreides, who is going, he cannot take wealth. I just took wealth. He can take conspire. And so he does. This is his first Emperor track movement. He bumps his tracker up 1. He generates 2 troops to his garrison, but it's not a combat space, so they just sit in his garrison. And that means that I'm going to take my reveal turn. I don't have any persuasion, so nothing happens. However, I'm going to be fighting this combat unimposed, so I simply win a victory point, tying me for first, and I'm going to put my flag on Arrakeen, and that's wonderful for me. So now that the winnings have been resolved, I'm going to put spice onto the board. The Great Flat gets a spice. I'm going to put all combat trackers back to their original positions, return troops to their respective supplies, flip the conflict card, and it's the Siege of Carthag. 1 victory point for first place, and a flag at Carthag. But an intrigue card and 1 spice for second place. This is the 4th round. We're going to move all the trackers back to their home positions. I'm going to roll the Imperium Row dice, 5 and 6. 6 has been ignored. And say goodbye to Desert Ambush. That card is toast. We're going to replace it with Planned Coupling. That's 3 persuasion. It's a Bene Gesserit card. It graphs and lets you go to Bene Gesserit spaces unless you draw a card. It gives you 1 persuasion on a reveal. And with that being said, we're going to return troops to their agents, to their respective supplies. The Mentat goes back. I get this. These guys get this stuff back, all their stuff back, all 3 of their agents, while I remain with only 2 for the course of this whole game. And I'd just like to say that I and Thorvald, no, I beg your pardon, myself and Paul Atreides are tied at first place with 1 victory point, while Thorvald is in second place, last place, with 0 victory points. And I begin this next round, so let's see what I would like to do. Let me draw my next hand. I have to get 4 troops added to the conflict, so that means I'm going to have to take Hayliner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I've got a signet ring, 2 convincing arguments. There's my Lizan al-Gaib right there. It's going to put me at 4 persuasion. I got a dagger. All right, so I know for a fact that I don't have to worry about High Council being taken. So what I could do is use my experimentation, go to smuggling, move my Chom tracker up 1, and then move my research tracker forward 1 as well. Then I would use my signet ring, take High Council, spend a spice, push my tracker down, get 2 spice, so I would end up with 1 extra spice than I started with this round. That's good. That's what I think I might do. Okay. So with that said, yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah, I start this round. I'm going to use my experimentation, bring my first agent to smuggling, get a Solari, and move my Chom tracker up 1. All right, wonderful. I'm going to move my research tracker forward 1, which means I get to push a specimen into the Oxalotl tank. And what will I do with that? Well, I'm going to move my research tracker, I beg your pardon, my Twi'lexu tracker forward 1 as soon as I get the chance to do that. And yeah, wonderful. That's nice. Let's see here. Should I try to go for troops? No, probably not. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to go to Paul Atreides, who is going to take selective breeding. He's going to push his tracker up 1. This is the first time he's gone to a Bene Gesserit space. And then we're going to give the round over to Thorvald, who is going to harvest spice. If he had troops, he would take them, but he doesn't. So instead, he just gets 4 spice. good for him. He has no troops in this conflict, and it goes back to me for my second turn. I'm going to use my signet ring and take the High Council, put my tracker here, bump myself up 2 persuasion points, and spend the 5 Solari I was talking about earlier. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Solari to take that space. And I'm going to spend a spice to move my Trome tracker down, and I'm going to take 2 spice. So, hey, look, I now have 4 spice instead of 3 spice. Yay! And I like how that worked out. And will I be getting involved in this combat? No, obviously not, but that's okay. And let's see here. Okay, cool. Anyway, we're going to go to Paul Atreides. This is now the beginning of the second round. So, Conspire. He moves his agent here. He takes his first, I beg your pardon, actually this is his second victory point. And he gets 2 troops from the supply added to his garrison. Now he's got a nice little battalion over here in his garrison waiting for orders. Now we're going to go to Thorvald, who takes secrets. He gets a victory point out of that move. So this is finally him moving out of the 0 position. It goes back to me now for my reveal phase. I have a total of 6 persuasion, and the move I want to do is take Lisan al-Gaib, and that's 4 total persuasion out of 6. I have 2 left, so I'll take Imperial Spy as well. That's going to put me to 0. Why am I buying so many cards? Oh my gosh, Spice Trader and Shifting Allegiances. Well, I'm buying a lot of cards because they're going to work for me, I hope, in the end. I can use it to buy maybe a Spice Plus Flow. I get 1 spice for buying Lisan al-Gaib. I now have 5 spice, so I'll just exchange these spice with the bank and take a 5 spice tracker there. And yeah, so with that said, that was my reveal phase. Do I have anything else? Oops, I dropped a card. No, nothing else comes to mind, so that's it for me. Everything gets moved to the discard pile. And so now we're going to go back to Agent Phase 3 with Paul Atreides, who is going to harvest spice, but he can't because there's no more bonus spice on the board. He can't use that again, so he's going to go to Fold Space. This is going to move him up 1, and that's all he does. So now we go to Thorvald, who will take Dreadnought. And does he have enough to buy a Tactile? I'm sure he does. He has 6, 7, 8. Oh, no. He just bought Flagship. That is vicious. So he just got himself a victory point out of the Flagship. All 8 of his spice is spent. He buys Flagship for 8, and he gets himself a victory point. Oh, no. And he has 2 Tactiles also. Oh, no. Oops, I just revealed. Well, I'll just reveal the one that I looked at, since that makes most sense. I just accidentally looked at 2 cards, but I only saw one of them. Detonation devices for 3 spice. When you win a conflict using a Dreadnought, you may return a Dreadnought to your supply to gain a victory point instead of taking control of a board space with it. All right, that's quite nice. So now we're going to move on to the combat phase, and wow, nobody is involved in this combat at all. That's actually unbelievable. That said, though, I forgot to give the poor guy his Dreadnought. But yeah, nobody's involved in combat. Jeez, it really makes me wish I had put in a troop or something, but I just can't do that. So nobody wins anything out of this round, and the winnings have been resolved, so let's put spice onto these desert spaces. Nobody tried to take Carthag this round. It was just like left open, wide open for the taking, and nobody took it. Can you believe that? And then we're going to flip the next conflict card. It is Desert Power. First place gets a victory point and a water. Second place gets a water and a spice. And this is the 5th round. We're going to move all trackers back. I start at 2 there. And we're going to roll the Imperium Row dice. We've got 2 and 2 doubles. So say goodbye to the Chris Knife. You are out of here. Going, gone. And we've got another Imperial Spy. That's 2 persuasion. Let's go to Emperor Spaces. And when you go there, you get to trash the card for an intrigue card. So with that being said, I'd just like to let everybody know going into the 5th round that Thorvald and Atreides are tied for first place with 2 victory points, and I am in last place with 1 victory point. And that's not so bad, actually. I feel like this game is off to a good start. I'm building a nice engine with my deck of cards. I'm a little worried it's cumbersome. I'm a little worried that I bought too many cards. It does concern me, but I'm also excited to see what will happen because those are some interesting cards. And so first player tracker is now going to go up here. And before I begin this round, I'm going to nuke out the Imperium row and get rid of all these cards because I just don't see any of these things working for me in the not too distant future. You know what I just realized though, and it's too late now. I'm just not going to do it, but I did just realize that I haven't spent my specimen to move my Twi'lexi tracker. Thumper, that's a promo card. Corrupt Smuggler, In the Shadows, ooh. Bene Gesserit's Sister, and Fremen Camp. Thumper for 3 persuasion is a Fremen card that lets you go to yellow spaces, and you get to double the bonus spice you harvest with the agent. It gives you 1 persuasion, 1 spice. Corrupt Smuggler for 3 persuasion. It's a Spacing Guild and Fremen card that lets you go to Spacing Guild in yellow spaces. If it's grafted, you get 2 spice. It gives you 1 persuasion and a combat on reveal. In the Shadows for 2 persuasion is a Bene Gesserit card that lets you go to green and blue spaces. And if you have 2 influence with the Bene Gesserit, you can discard a card to move a faction with the Emperor, Spacing Guild, or Fremen track up 1. And it has an unload ability, which means you can discard or trash a card to move the Bene Gesserit's faction up 1. Bene Gesserit's Sister for 3 persuasion is a Bene Gesserit card. Lets you go to Bene Gesserit spaces and green spaces. It gives you 2 persuasion or 2 combat points on a reveal. Fremen Camp is a 4 persuasion card and a Fremen card that lets you go to yellow spaces, and for the cost of 2 spice you get to generate 3 troops to your garrison. It gives you 2 persuasion and a combat point, and none of them are of any use to me. So with that being said, we're going to go to Paul Atreides, who is going to take a Rakeen for his first turn. I get 1 Solari because I have a flag in that spot. Haha. And let's see here. What else? He gets a troop from his supply to his garrison. He pushes that in along with 2 other troops. That's going to put him at 6 combat points, and he uses his Signet Ring ability, and he gets to move a faction where somebody else has 1 above him, and we'll give this one to him, the Bene Gesserit, which will give him a victory point, and that's why he does that. And now we're going to go to Thorvald, who will take the Dreadnought. This is his 2nd Dreadnought, and he has no spice, so instead he just puts a Negotiator in the at the planet X, so that will give him a discount on textiles in the future. And with that being said, we're going to move to my turn now. I have 2 cards in my deck, and I have to shuffle my discard pile now. I'm 1 spice away from having a Hayliner, and it's the 5th round. I should probably go to the Imperial Basin if I can do that. And I think that's the intelligent move. And then after that, interstellar shipping will become available to me. So yeah, maybe that's a good move. Plus, yeah, so if I can, like, if I move Hayliner in, I would be able to use my Diversion Intrigue card, which would push my Chom track up 1. And then if I have interstellar shipping available to me, then I would be able to do that. Yeah, okay, cool. So that would be how I would move my Bene Gesserit space. So, okay, sorry guys, I'm just thinking out loud a little bit. 5, and right on. Now let's see what I've got here. Here's Jameis finally revealing himself. Oh, goodness gracious. What a dud of a bunch of cards I've got here. I do get 6 persuasion, but at this point in the game, persuasion isn't necessary anymore. So what I should do, really, the smart thing to do is to... the smart thing to do at this point is to do the only thing I can do. Wait a minute now. Hold on. I have a lot of spice. What would I do? Nah. I don't want to buy any tech. This is going to be a complete dud round for me. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. Is there any way I can get water? Nope, there is no way I can get water. The only space I can go to is Still Suits. I'll get a water from there, but then after that, I don't do anything. And I guess the only other thing left to do after that would be to, take the Mentat. Oh, yeah, hello. Well, hold on a minute. How did I even get? I'm positive that I spent 5 Solari. Yeah, because I had. How did I get all that Solari? Anyways, how did I get all that Solari? I don't even remember. Oh, that's right. I went to Wealth. And yeah, okay, so I did spend it. So the Solari that I'm currently sitting on is legitimately earned. I didn't forget to pay for my High Council. I'm positive of that. So the right move to do here really is to take the Mentat space right out of the gates, because I can share with other agents with this card. So I'm not terribly worried about another agent filling up, like, say, Hardy Warriors or something. So take the Mentat space with my Dagger card, spend 5 Solari, and this is going to let me draw a card, really, and get a Mentat. And I'm going to draw a card, and let's hope it's good. The Signet Ring. Okay, this is good. So I can go to Still Suits, and then from Still Suits, I would be able to go to Carthag or something like that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I like that. So far, it's looking pretty good. Okay, great. So that's my first turn in this round, and House Hagal is out of cards, so I have to shuffle up everything. We're going to get into the second agent phase now. Goodness gracious. Yeah, so far this game is pretty good. I mean, I feel like Paul Atreides has got a pretty commanding lead, but man, last couple games, I remember last game I got so lucky because CHOAM directorship showed itself, and I bought that, and I was so happy because if it wasn't for that card, I don't know if I would have won. But that was really that card came in at the perfect timing, and I was able to afford it. It was so awesome. Okay. Paul Atreides, what do you want to do? You're going to go to Interstellar Shipping, but you can't because you don't have 2 influence with the Spacing Guild. So instead, you're going to go to Fold Space to close up that Spacing Guild victory point, and now you can finally go to Interstellar Shipping. And then we're going to go to Thorvald, who will take Wealth. He's this is the first time he's moving his Emperor track up 1, and then it's going to go to me now for my second agent phase, where I will take Carthag, as I said I would. I'm going to, well, should I do that? No. Wait a minute. No, I'm not going to get involved in this combat. That's silly of me. Why would I do that? I'm going to use my Signet Ring to go to the Imperial Basin, is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get 2 spice, so that puts me at 7 total spice. I'm going to spend 1 spice on my Signet Ring ability and move my CHOAM tracker up 1. And that's great. So I have 6 spice. That's enough for a Hayliner down the road. And that's really very good. I'm happy with that. And so now we're going to go into the third agent phase. And we are going to go to Paul Atreides. He's going to take his first Dreadnought. Oh, he cannot do that because Thorvald's already occupied that space. Instead, he's going to go to Carthag, where he generates himself a troop. And then he pushes it in, plus 2 additional troops. That's going to put him at 2, 4, 6, 12 combat points. Jeez Louise, man. He's going to push his Twi'leksu tracker forward 1. That's going to give him an intrigue card. That's 2 intrigue cards, 1 away from a victory point. And then he's going to get rid of Subject X-137. And he's going to reveal Carino Genes. 1 specimen gets you 2 Solari. Lets you go to Emperor spaces. It's an Emperor card. And if it's grafted, you can move your Twi'leksu tracker up 1. Now, you know, it's funny, as earlier when I banished a card out of the Twi'leksu row, I may have accidentally put it, there it is, Contaminator. It's supposed to go in its own separate pile away from Imperium row cards. Anyways, with that being said, good play, Paul Atreides. Let's move forward to Thorvald. What does he want to do? He can't do that. He's going to go to Harvest Spice, so that means he goes to the Haga Basin. He gets 3 spice, and he gets to push in 2 of his Dreadnoughts. That's 3, 6, and he gets a total of 3 spice. Good for him. And now it's my third agent phase, where I'm going to use Jamis, and that's going to let me go to Still Suits. I push my tracker up 1, get myself a water, I don't have any troops that I can add to this combat even if I wanted to, but I will banish and trash out this dagger. And that's going to actually keep me at 5 persuasion. There's nothing I want in the Imperium Row whatsoever. And that's fine with me. That's okay. All right, so wonderful. I'm looking at taking maybe the Hayliner next turn, or yeah, I should be getting my fold space and my diplomacy pretty soon. So I'm gonna hope that those come separately because I'd like to get Hayliner in the next round. Sorry, the 7th round if that's possible. So let's see, what did I do? That's right. It now goes to my reveal turn, and there was really nothing to reveal except for the fact that I get to spend 3 specimen. What are the odds that I can execute my Twi'lexu tracker? I mean, maybe I should be trying to put troops in. We're so late in this game. Are the odds even any good that I could move that Twi'lexu tracker? I don't think so. I would potentially move it 1 space forward, 2 space, then I'd have to move it again sometime to get a 3rd space, but then how would I get it to that 4th space for that victory point? How would I achieve that? That's a tricky question. I'd have to have more specimen. I guess it's possible, so I'll just do the tried and true method. I'll spend the 3 specimen to do that and push this tracker up 1. Just hope that pays off down the road. I'd at least like to get that 1 victory point if possible. And with that said, let's get into combat. Let's see how this is going to resolve itself. Paul Atreides, what would you like to do? You're going to blank out. And Thorvald, you'd like to gain 2 combat points, which means that victory goes to Paul Atreides. He wins himself a victory point. And darn it, he doesn't have enough water. I'm sorry, I thought he did. He's actually sitting at 2 water, but that's the thing. I swear I thought these guys had more water. Who am I remembering? Somebody must have spent water already for a victory point. I'm just not remembering. So he got himself a water and a spice for taking 2nd place. And because winnings have been resolved, we put Spice out onto the field. And he gets to put his dreadnought here. And he also gets to cover my flag with his dreadnought. So darn it, I don't get any more Solari, at least for the next round. And all of the troops go back to their respective garrisons. I'm sorry, their supplies. The combat trackers go back. We flip this next card. It is the Cloak and Dagger. This is the 6th round, so we're getting close now to the 7th round where the winnings get good. And it's 3 and 4. So In the Shadows and Bene Gesserit's sister are out of here, off of the Imperium Row. We're now going to reveal the voice. For 2 persuasion, it's a Bene Gesserit card. Let's go to blue and yellow spaces. Choose any board space opponents can't send their next agents there this round. And get a load of this. I actually have a voice blocker. It's a Bene Gesserit blocker acrylic tile that any space I want to excommunicate from the board, anybody I want from the space, I just place it there. If I chose to take the voice, which I won't because I don't really need it. Now then there's Throne Room Politics, which I think is another promo card. It's an Emperor and Bene Gesserit card for persuasion. And it lets you go to Emperor spaces. You get a troop and trash a card. It gives you 1 persuasion and 1 Bene Gesserit tracker movement on a reveal. So, with that being said, Thorvald is going to begin this next round. And at the beginning of the 5th round, I'd just like to let everybody know that Paul Atreides is well in the lead with 5 victory points. Thorvald is in 2nd place with 2, and I'm in last with 1. And so agents are going to go back to their respective spaces. And right, it's going to be a doozy of a game. I don't see how I'm going to pull this off, but I've said that every game so far. And the last 3 in a row I've managed to win, even though I told myself beforehand, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And then I did. So let's, see how it'll play out. Maybe I'll get lucky again. All right, here's how we're going to start this next round. Yes, I'm actually really happy with this. I'll tell you why. I'm really happy with this. Okay, great. This is awesome. First of all, get a load of this. I have the Fremen Bond with the Lisan al-Gaib, right? So awesome. And that means I'm sitting at, let's see here, 4 on top of 2, just with those alone. And then this one is 1 and 2, so I'm at 6. Okay, so what I would do is, that also means that my diplomacy, let me look at my discard pile. Diplomacy is not in there. Good. That means my next hand, I will have diplomacy. So that means I can get Hayliner next round if I wanted to. So, okay, what do I want to do? With this turn, I think the right move is to take wealth, get that out of the way. Interstellar shipping. Yes, interstellar shipping first. Get 2 troops and then move my Bene Gesserit tracker up 1. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll get that. Yeah, I'll do that. And great. Okay. Okay, things are looking good. I think I have ways of winning now. All right, so experimentation. I'm going to use that right now. Experimentation. Take my agent. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Thorvald's turn, not my turn. I'm being so silly. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Secrets for Thorvald. And he pushes his tracker up 1. He's 1 away from the Alliance coin, and that's all he does. Now it's my turn. I'll use my experimentation. I'll put my interstellar shipping here. Oh, I can't go to interstellar shipping. I don't have oh, I don't have that yet. Darn it. Okay. What does that mean? What that means is, do I have an experimentation card in my discard pile? No, which means in my next hand I'll have another experimentation. So what I should do this round is instead focus on getting my other factions up. So I should use this on wealth, get that out of the way, trash it, and then use my fold space to go to Hardy Warriors to generate some troops, I suppose, and lock away a victory point with the Fremen is what I'm thinking of doing. And of course, drawing a card, but drawing a card isn't a good idea. Oh no. Oh no, no. That would be bad. Drawing cards would be bad because I don't want to draw my diplomacy. That's my only way of getting to my Hayliner. I don't want to draw cards. So, you know what? There's no way I'm going to be able to afford a Spice Must Flow this round, no matter how you shake it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just not going to be possible. So what I should do instead is just get rid of this notion of using Siege Reverend Mother. And then from there, I would trash my Lizan al-Gaib, I guess, because it's probably not going to, or I would probably trash my experimentation in all seriousness. Yeah. Okay, so it's my turn now. Let's finally do a thing. The thing I want to do is use my Imperial Spy, trash this card, move my agent up here, take this victory point. It's going to get me 2 Solari, which I don't necessarily need, but that victory point comes in nice. And that's, yeah, looking pretty good. Now, if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, I can move my Fremen tracker up 1. Ooh, I do not have another Bene Gesserit card in play, but that's okay. I don't need it. And so, yeah, okay. All right, we're just going to go to Paul Atreides. We're going to cross that bridge when we get there. He's going to go to Carthag. He's going to get a troop added from his supply to his garrison. He's going to push that into combat. It's going to put him at 2 combat points, and he's going to move his Twi'leksu tracker up 1, and that's it for him. Then we're going to go to Thorvald for, this is now the second agent phase, by the way. He's going to go to tech negotiation. He does have a negotiator there. So does he have enough? Yes, he does. He has enough. He's going to get this for only 1 spice because he has a tech negotiator and he has 1 spice in his and he gets -1 spice here plus the negotiator, so it's going to cost him 1 spice so he can get detonation devices. And it says, when you win a conflict using a dreadnought, you may return a dreadnought to your supply to gain a victory point instead of taking control of a board space with it. So he doesn't have his dreadnoughts in combat now, but he may in the future. And he reveals Shuttle Fleet for 6 spice. You get to choose 2 factions to raise up by 1, and every round, at the beginning of the round, you get 2 Solari. That's actually a really good tactile if you can get it somewhat early in the game, but we cannot. So with that being said, it's going to go to my second agent phase, where I wanted to do what? Yeah, I guess I should start thinning out my deck if possible. So yeah, I'm going to use my Siege Raven Mother to take Party Warriors. And what that's going to allow me to do is get 2 troops added to this conflict. But I'm not going to get involved in this conflict, or maybe I should, huh? Yeah, I should try to. I really should, because I also have Double Cross. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I could do that. Yep. So, right, I'm going to use... Teach Reverend Mother from In Bond. Goodness gracious. Such a... I only have 3 cards left in my deck. One of them is a diplomacy, one of them is a thing, and I just don't want to risk drawing, because I'm like, I really wish I could get the From In Bond, because that'll give me 2 additional combat points and a spice. And also, I would get a specimen, so I wouldn't have to worry about trashing a card. It's just using my fold space would cause me to draw a card, and I just can't afford it. I need Hayliner next round. Absolutely need it. It's just too risky. Just way too risky, you know? And I also get to start the next round, too, so Hayliner right out of the gates. I guess I'm just going to have to kiss this idea goodbye. Yeah, let's use Siege Reverend Mother and put my agent here, push my tracker up 1, get a victory point. That puts me at 3. I spend a water, and I get 2 troops added to the garrison. And what will I do with them? Will I put them in conflict? Yes, I will. It's going to be 2 4 conflict points for me. But before it's too late, I'm going to use... Double Cross, Tech Negotiation, Carthag. So wait a minute. Started with him with 1, then to 1, then to 1, then to 2, then to 2, and then to 2. Okay, that's the reason why. Okay, I got confused. I'm going to use Double Cross, spend 1 Solari, and I'm going to take away his troop so I can add a troop, and that takes him to 0, and it puts me at 6. So thank you, Double Cross. That's going to help me win this conflict. So nice. Right on. And yeah, so now with that said, we're going to go to Paul Atreides, who will harvest spice. He has no troops to speak of, but he does get himself a nice, bountiful supply of spice. Sorry, I'm just sort of making I got a little distracted there. I apologize. Sorry, I was looking at my baby monitor. It looked like, I was like, what the heck? So, sorry. Paul Atreides, where is he at? He has no troops, so he can't put anything into the battle here. And then we're going to go to Thorvald, and this is now officially the 3rd agent phase for Thorvald, who will take still suits. And he also he's going to get a victory point out of this, but he has no troops that he can add to this conflict. So it looks like I'm going to walk away with this one with 2 additional intrigue cards. So I'm super happy with that. Let's see here. What do I want to do after that? I bumped his tracker up 1. He got his victory point, and that's it. So then it goes to my reveal turn, where nothing happens because there's nothing I can reveal. I do get to put, oh yeah, I forgot. When I used Siege Reverend Mother, I could trash a card. I told myself I was going to trash Experimentation. That remains the case. That card, maybe it's just too late, right? Maybe it's too late. I didn't trash it, so maybe it's too late and I have to eat it that I forgot to do it. It's too bad now. All right, well, I was going to trash that card, but it's with me now. I have to pay the price of my forgetfulness. Can't forget. So with that said, it's my reveal phase. I guess I'll put a specimen in the Oxalotl tank from the Experimentation. That's it. And so now it's going to go, that was my reveal phase, and now we're going to go back to Agent Phase 3 for Paul Atreides, who he finally gets involved in this conflict. He gives one Solari to Thorvald, and he gets a troop added to his garrison, and he pushes it in for 2 combat points. And he gets his Signet Ring ability where he spends a spice to push his, he has no, he has a track right here he can push up. The Bene Gesserit track goes up by 1 as a result of that. And so then it goes to the conflict, and let's see what I can do. There's nothing really I want to do to invoke this combat any more than it is. It looks like I'm going to walk away with it. If I need to use Finesse, I will. He's going to take Conspire. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I'm forced to use Finesse so I can edge out the combat to 8. And that puts him at 6 and I'm at 8. So I win this conflict. That's too bad. I wanted to use Finesse for another thing, but you know what? It became a situation. So I'm going to choose the faction I want to gain a victory point with right now, and I choose the Bene Gesserit. I get a victory point out of that, and I get 2 intrigue cards. 1, Ambush. That's going to come in handy. And 2, let's see. If you have 3 or more tech tiles, oh my goodness, don't you just wish it wouldn't have panned out this way anyway? But remember at the beginning of the game, there was a card, it was like called like Ixian Soldier or something like that. Really makes me wish I bought that, because if I had 3 tech tiles, I would have 2 victory points out of that just from that alone. But that would have been huge. That would have been really difficult to achieve. This will allow me to buy a tech tile if I want one. Other than that, it doesn't do me any good. And there's no tech tiles I really want, so that's a crying shame. So this is a wasted intrigue card. No big deal. I did get an ambush out of all that. And so with that said, second place is Paul Atreides, who gets an intrigue card. He's going to spend it on a victory point because all 3 of his intrigue cards are going to be spent for that victory point. And he goes up 1 to 6, and he gets 1 spice. He has a nice hoard of spice up there. He's still 1 Solari away from a victory point too. Goodness. All right, so winnings have been resolved, and we got to put spice out on the board. The Hog-Basin gets a spice, and the Imperial Basin gets a spice. And the Dreadnoughts go back to their garrisons, and these 2 trackers go back. My troops go back to their supplies. This guy goes back to his supply. We're going to roll the Imperium Row dice. 4 and 2. Let's hope these are good. This one and this one are gone off the board. What do we reveal? Treachery for 6. And another treachery. 2 treacheries in a row. What are the odds? I'll just read that right now. 6 Persuasion. Treachery allows you to go to Emperor, Spacing Guild, Bene Gesserit, and Fremen spaces, and you gain 2 influence instead of 1. Trash this card. It also has Unload, which means discard or trash another card to gain 2 troops and deploy these troops to the conflict. Right on. So with that being said, we're going to flip this conflict card. 2 victory points and a flag at Carthag. Nobody has a flag at Carthag. In second place gets an intrigue card and 3 spice. This is the 7th round. And going into the 7th round, Paul Atreides is in the lead with 6 victory points. I'm in second place with 4, and Thorvald is in last place with 3. And so with that, all agents are going to come back to their respective supplies. And we're going to get into the 7th round, where I feel like magic is going to happen. This is a decisive round. Everything comes down to this, because I really, really wanted to get that Hayliner, remember? And so I'll move this persuasion back to 2. 1, 2, 3. and I'm going to shuffle my discard pile really, really good. So if I win this conflict, I've got my first victory point out of everything except for the Spacing Guild. So by taking Hayliner, I would get to 5 victory points. And if I win this conflict, which it's looking like I might, except for look out for this dude, he's got 2 Hayliners, I could end this round with 7 victory points. And so, gosh. But let's see here. Man, I'm trying to think of, like, what do I do? You know? I don't know. Okay, 1, 2. And it's done. Okay, let's look at my hand. There's the Diplomacy. And look at that. The Diplomacy was actually at the top. So I'm glad I didn't draw a card. It would have been over for me. It would have been over for me. All right, so right out of the gates, I'm taking Diplomacy, and I'm going to take Hayliner, and I'm going to push in a victory point, push that tracker up, get a victory point. I get 5 troops, and of course I'm going to push all of them in. And that's going to get me 10 combat points right out of the gates, and I get 2 water. Yeah, that's the smart move right there. And with that being said, I also get to use Diversion. And with Diversion on my side, when I deploy 4 or more units to the conflict in a single turn, I get to move my Chome Tracker up 1. So that has been utilized and done. All right, so now we're going to go to Paul Atreides, who he's going to take a Rakeen, and he's going to give me a Solari because I have a flag there. And he's going to generate a troop from his supply to his garrison. He's going to push it in, giving him 2 combat points. He's going to use the Signet Ring ability. He spends a spice. There is nowhere else on these trackers where he can give himself an influence because nobody else is above him anywhere. So unfortunately, he just keeps the spice and nothing happens. So with that being said, we're going to go to Thorvald, who does what? He goes to Research Station. Oh no, I'm pretty sure he just got himself a victory point out of that. He pushes his Twi'leksu tracker forward 1, 2, and that is a combat space. He gets these 2 spice, and he gets a victory point. He pushes in his 2 dreadnoughts, putting him at 6 combat points. And then it goes to me. I've got to do something about this, don't you think? I could use my Signet Ring. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, this is awesome. I really don't need to be afraid of anyone taking my lead out of this round, because if I use my Signet Ring... Oh, goodness. When I went to... Stupid me. I forgot to spend my spice when I went to Hayliner. So I was just thinking I could go to, say, Hagabazin, right? And I would use my Signet Ring. I'd get 2 spice. And I would use one of those spice to move my Chome Tracker. And that would generate me 2 troops. Plus I'd get, I don't know, a couple spice or some... I have 5 slots. I'd take the 2 spice. I don't know why. I just feel like that's a better move. But I'd get to move a faction up 1. Yeah. Anyway. The point is that I would be able to generate 2 troops this round and put it into my garrison and push them forward into combat. And that's what I think I'm going to do. So, yeah. Good. And then what would I do? With my 2 water, I can't go to Research Station. Darn it, dude. I want to move my Twi'leksu tracker. Like, I want to try to get that victory point, but it's going to be really hard at this point. That sucks. All right, that's okay. I'll just use my Signet Ring now, get that out of the way. Go to Imperial Basin. I take 2 spice, and I spend 1 of my spice to move the Chome Tracker down. Yes, and that's going to get me 2 troops, and I'm going to push them into the combat. 14, and then I'm going to move a faction up 1 of my choosing. What faction should I choose, though, is the question. I think the smart move would be to take the Fremen track. Honestly, the safest bet would be to... There's no way I'm going to be able to get Hayliner again. I'm just going to give myself 2 spice now. So I'm at 3 spice. Is it really impossible that I could get 3 more spice somehow? Is it really impossible? I could go to Hagabeza next round and then use, like, say, full. Oh, I might be able to do that, actually. Ooh, if I go to Hagabeza next round and then go to Hayliner again. So if I do that, the right move would be to push this tracker up one, because there's a chance I could do that, and I think I will. Yes. Okay. Anyways, with that's so that way, yeah, if I go back to Hayliner, I'd get that victory point right there. So that would solve that problem. All right, so that was my second agent, and that seals the deal. That seals the deal for me there. Is it smart, though? Here's the thing. Maybe I'm being silly. I pushed in 2 troops. I'm going to put 1 back. 1, 2. And the reason why is because I can always use ambush if absolutely necessary. And I kind of just want to make sure I have an extra troop on reserve. So now we're going to go back to Paul Atreides. And what does he want to do? Harvest spice. Okay. And he doesn't have any troops in his garrison, so he just gets 3 spice. And there goes my idea for next round, going to Hayliner. Darn it. Now I wish that I could put my Spaceling Guild track down 1. Darn it. That's really too bad. Anyways, Thorvald, what do you want to do? You're going to go to Fold Space, and you're going to get a victory point with that. And that's it. So then it goes to me, where I go to my reveal phase. I gain 1 combat point with my dagger, and I go to 13. I get to put a specimen in the Oxalotl tank, and I have 4 total persuasion, and there's absolutely nothing I want to buy. So blah, blah to that, blah. Anyway, let's get back to Agent Phase 3. That was my reveal turn. So Atreides, you will go to Hardy Warriors, and wow, you just got yourself a victory point and a water. That's 2 victory points for you, by the way, because you got a water out of that Alliance coin. So let's give him 2 victory points. That puts him 7 to 8. Look out for this guy. He is on the run to take this win. And then we're going to go to Thorvald, who is going to harvest spice, but he can't because there's no bonus spice. But he will go to Still Suits, where he will push his tracker up 1, and he doesn't have any other troops he can add to this conflict. So that's it for that. We're going to go now to the combat phase. So I have really nothing I want to do at this point. It's going to be between Thorvald and Atreides. So Atreides, you want to push your troops up 2 more combat points, and Thorvald, you want to also do that. And so I take the win. I gain 2 victory points. 1, 2. I also get to put my second flag on Carthag. And second place is Thorvald, who has 2 intrigue cards. He's winning an intrigue card, which means he spends 3 of them on a victory point. That happens. He gets a victory point, and he gets 3 spice. I'm going to have to take some spice out of Atreides' pot here. That's 3, 4, 5, and replace it with a 5 tracker, so I can give 3 spice over to Thorvald. Good for him. All right, now with that being said, the winnings have been resolved. 1 spice goes to the Great Flat right here. And let me just sort of straighten these cards out a bit. There we go. All troops go back to their respective supplies. These 2 dreadnoughts go to the board here and here. Troop goes back there. All combat trackers go back here. This is very much up for the taking in this next round. 3 and 5. So say goodbye to Throne Room Politics and Fremenkamp. They're off the board. We got Sardaukar Legion. For 5 persuasion, it lets you go to Emperor and green spaces and gives you 2 troops. You also get 1 persuasion on reveal. Deploy up to 3 troops from your garrison to the conflict. And Scout costs 1 persuasion, lets you go to blue and yellow spaces, does nothing on an agent phase, but you reveal it, you get 1 persuasion, 1 combat point. Retreat up to 2 of your troops. So that's interesting. Right. So with that being said, we're going to get into this next round. And let's see what it is. In the 8th round, it's another. All right, Imperial Basin. Oh man, I don't. Dude, that is so weak. I have 2 flags on the board. Darn it! I should be able to have a defensive bonus, but instead, Thorvald gets it. He gets 2 troops in because he gets 2 combat points because his dreadnought is there. And so, what do I do now? I've got to find a way to win this combat. This has to be achievable for me. Oh man, I gotta get a victory point and win this combat. So I'm gonna have to take the Mentet space. That's a thing that has to happen. Okay, let me think this through. Anyway, let's see. All right, let's just do this. Let's get into the 7th round. I'm gonna let everybody know that Paul Atreides is in the lead with 8 victory points. I'm in 2nd place with 7, and Thorvald is in last 3rd place with 6. So, with that being said, all agents are going to go back to their respective supplies. That happens. And first player is Paul Atreides, so what does he want to do? What does Paul want to do? Paul wants to go to selective breeding. Paul wants to get a victory point and an intrigue card, darn you. Paul gets a victory point and an intrigue card because he has 2 alliance coins now. Darn it, he's 1 point away from winning this game, so be on the lookout for this guy. And then we're going to go to Thorvald, who will take Conspire, and he just got himself a victory point, plus 2 troops from his supply added to his garrison. It's not a combat space, so they don't get pushed in. Then it goes to me. I got to draw my next hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 water, so I might... I don't have a way to get Haliner. I don't have a way to take the Mentet. I am very, very screwed. Okay, wait. If you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, I can move that faction up 1. I could do something like this. I could get involved in this combat. It's a desperate gamble, but it needs to be done, right? And here's the thing. Oh my God. Okay, hold on a second. Get a load of this. Okay, hold on. There's a miracle there's a miracle taking place. I could steal a victory point, possibly. I mean, God, I'm going to announce my strategy, and I know they're going to steal it from me. I know they're going to take my plans. They're going to totally rob me, but I'm going to tell the audience what I'm going to do. I'm going to use Siege Reverend Mother and go to Hardy Warriors, right? And why would that be particularly good? Because I would trash, I don't know, convincing argument. Let's see here. I'm sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 persuasion. A possible, I could get a fold space, but no, this is way too desperate. What I'm going to do is I use Siege Reverend Mother to go to Hardy Warriors, get 2 troops, push them all into combat. Then I use Lisan al-Gaib to go to Still Suits, and then I can push that tracker up 1 again, and that would tie me. It's not enough. It wouldn't be enough to steal his coin. Oh, womp womp. I'm so sad. How would I be able to do? There's got to be a way. Oh, man. There is no way. Hold on. There is a way. Okay, there is a way. I got to just look at all my options. Okay, look. Let's get real. Okay. Hold on. What if I go to... Okay. Hold on now. Aha. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I could... it's a desperate gamble. But it's got to be a thing I could do. Okay, so I could use Siege Reverend Mother and go to Hardy Warriors, push in for combat. That's got to be a thing. Has to be done. And then I could go to Research Station draw 2 cards, but then what would that do me? What good would that do me? I only have 2 cards left. I don't even know what they are. I don't even know what they are. But I would get to move my Fremen tracker up again. Wait a minute. No. I would be able to steal the coin because I would be able to steal the coin because I got to do this so I can steal his coin. Yeah, I'm being so stupid because I go to the still suits, I get to bump it up, and then I get to bump it up again because of the Bene Gesserit, which is already in play. So I was right initially. That's the strategy. Okay, now I know what I'm going to do. Okay, this is looking much better. I'm going to use Sweet Reverend Mother to go to Hardy Warriors and push my tracker up 1, spend a water, get 2 troops from my supply added to the garrison, and push them all in. That puts me at 6 combat points. And then this card gets used, so I'm going to trash, I don't know, I'll trash my, let's see, it's going to be 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's it. This isn't even enough still to, I'm not going to trash anything. I'm too close to a potential, I have 3, you know what I could do? If it really got desperate, I could spend my 3 spice on machine culture to buy training drones, and then I would be able to tap it to generate an extra troop next round. And that would help me win combat if I needed to. But anyways, I also still have an ambush card. All right, it's looking still pretty crazy hairy. And I would get another intrigue card because I would spend my specimen on my specimen to push my Twilaxu tracker, so that would get me another intrigue card. So who knows what that would generate for me. But anyways, let's now get into Paul Atreides' second round. I need to sort of be thinking about that, right? So Rakeen, he gives Solari over to Thorvald, and how many Solari does he have? He is, oh my god, Atreides is 1 Solari with 1 victory point. He's going to end this game 3-6. Instead, what does he do? Okay. Does he have a... he can spend a spice to move this tracker up 1, and that's 1 away from a victory point. Yet again, he generates a troop from his supply to his garrison, and he pushes it into combat for 2 points. And there he is. So now we're going to get into Thorvald's turn. He takes A-liner. Brutal, dude. Brutal. And we're all tied with that Spacing Guild track. He gets 3 troops from his supply to his garrison, and he pushes all of his troops into this combat. And it wouldn't be so bad if he ended up winning this combat after all. But let's just see where he's at. He'd have 12 combat points. So that's brutal. And now it goes to me for my second agent phase, and whoopsies. What could I do? What can I do? I could buy that tech tile for 3, get me up to 8, and then I would push it in to get me to 8, and then I have, after that, my 8, so plus my ambush, that's 4, so from that, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just enough to tie him, and we'd both get 5 spice. No. I'm gonna have to trust that this goes into the next round long enough for me to get 2 more victory points somehow, and take second place. I'd get 5 spice, and then I would definitely be able to take Hayliner next turn, get myself a victory point there. Who knows what the next conflict is going to be? I'm really going to cross my fingers that Paul Atreides doesn't end it this round, because he's definitely on the brink of doing that. So yeah, I'm going to stick with my plan. Oh, that's right. I could put Paul Atreides down. That's right. This was my plan. I'm going to do this. Put Lisan Al-Gaib, take still suits. I gain a water from that, and I get to bump my tracker up 1. I gain another water from that. And because I have, get a load of this, because I have another Bene Gesserit card in play, as per this card commands, if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, you get to move the Fremen tracker up 1 again. So I have taken Paul Atreides' victory point. He goes down 1. I go up 1. We are now tied with 8. So that is awesome. Now the question is, how badly do I want to try to... Yeah, I'm going to try to take second place. Yeah, out of this combat. Yes, and that would be 5 spice, so I could take Haylander next turn and hopefully end it, because now he's, yeah. So we're going to get into the third agent phase from that, and Paul Atreides, you're going to take Selective Breeding, but you can't because you've already got an agent there, so you're going to take Dreadnought instead. You definitely have enough spice to buy yourself a Tactile. What's it going to be? Oh no, you just won the game. He just won the game. No, he didn't. I'm being silly. He didn't win the game. No. He takes a Dreadnought, of course, but he doesn't win the game. He spends 6 of his spice on Shuttle Fleet. He gets to choose 2 factions to gain influence with, and of course he's going to do this to take the victory point, which gives him 3. So, he did just win the game. Yep, he did just win the game. He just got 3 Solari, and he was 1 Solari away from getting a victory point. So he spends 7 of his Solari on a victory point. And so there's the 7 Solari victory point, and there's the Alliance token victory point. Paul Atreides! You jerk! No! Okay, so look. Oh, brutal, man. Okay, so now I have to attempt to tie. How am I supposed to beat this guy in combat? So, okay, what I could do is this. Okay, I could, let's just get, that was the last card in the House of Gaul deck anyway. But, okay, I can't believe I pulled off that awesome steal with the Alliance coin, and he ends up winning it anyways. But let's get real here. What I can do on my reveal phase is use my machine culture. This is a desperate gamble for a win, a potential win. There's really no way I can do this. I could. This is a long shot. It's a very long shot, but I could at least tie. Oh, he would still win with more spice than me too. Oh man, yeah, he's gonna end up winning for sure. But it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do this. So he bought Shuttle Fleet. That's how he won the game. Did I even give him? I did not. He's going to take that one, I guess. Sure. Why not? So anyways, it's Thorvald's turn. He goes to Selective Breeding. He can't go there. He's going to go to Conspire. He cannot go there. He's going to harvest spice. So he goes to the Great Flat. He gets 4 spice. Well, I'm going to take a loss. Can you believe that? Oh, man, especially after I finally got a lead. Okay, so what can I do? What I wanted to do is this is a straight up gamble. I've got to do this. Take Machine Culture, spend it, spend 3 spice to buy a Tactile. And, well, first of all, let's see what this is. Yeah, it's nothing I could use. Training drones. I'm simply going to tap it to generate... it's too late for me to generate a troop into this conflict. I would have had to have done it last round. I should have done that. Darn it. That stinks. So I bought that for nothing, so I'm going to actually just put that back and take my spice back, because there could still be a miracle yet out of an intrigue card I have yet to utilize. So let's see what I could do. He has 4 spice and I have 3 spice, so I can't generate any more spice. The other thing I was going to do is this. It was I use my specimen in the Oxalotl tank here. And it's my reveal turn, so I spend all 3 of these to move my Twi'lexu tracker up 1, and I get an intrigue card. Let it be a combat card. It's useless. That stinks. So I lose everything I attempted this game to try to win. It was unmanageable. It's not possible. And I have 2, 4, 6, 7 persuasion. It's not enough for a spice must flow or really anything. So it's all for nothing. The only thing I can do at this point is I might as well just use my ambush to bump 1, 2, 3, 4, put me to 10 combat points. Why would I do that? Because why wouldn't I do that? It's the end of the game. I lose. And so, yeah, let's get into this. Let's see what Thorvald is going to do for his combat phase. Thorvald is going to bump up. Wait a minute. Why would Thorvald get his turn right now? It's Paul Atreides. He's going to bump up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's going to go to Thorvald from there, and it's going to be a blank out. Darn it. If I was able to get that troop in, we would have tied. And that would have meant nothing. Because I would not have gained any victory points. Alrighty then. So let's just recap on everything that's happened. It's 7 rounds in, and Paul Atreides has taken a victory at 10. I'm in second place with 8. So I'm going to now quickly reach across the table, get myself a handy dandy pen, and put a tally with the L's. I'm at 7 losses at Kwisatz Haderach level difficulty and 7 wins at Kwisatz Haderach level difficulty. And tonight I take an L before I come back again next week to play again. This is Thursday, and tomorrow I have friends coming over. We're going to play Gloomhaven. So after I'm done with this tonight, I clean up and put it all away. And I can't believe that I was so excited to see how this engine was going to cook with gas, and I just couldn't execute anything really spectacular or marvelous. Look at that. I never even used my fold space, and I had my Jamis card. Oh, man. It's just sad. I still had so much potential. I still had so much potential. All right. Well, I'm just going to have to take my lumps and go to bed sad tonight. And with that being said, I just wanted to say I appreciate anybody who's been watching and enjoying this channel. Please remember to like and subscribe. And seriously, if you have friends, anyone you know who likes board games, bother them about this channel and tell them about the greatness that is Dune Imperium. This is a really fun game, and there are other board games I'd like to get involved with down the road as well. So with that being said, I'm going to bid everyone adieu. Have yourselves a good rest of your night and take care. I'll see you next week for Game 16. Wish me luck till then. Bye.